Denver Career Connectors. I started Denver Career Connectors just last month and have already built the community to over 180 people. So very happy to have all of you today. My name is Chelle Johnson, and I am going to be sharing my slides in just a moment. I am the founder of Best You Career Advantage. I work with clients on everything from branding to onboarding to performance coaching and everything in between, networking, interviewing, and making sure that you are speaking your truth. Today, we're going to talk about a really important topic of mental fitness and purpose for the career journey. So it's not just going to be about for you as a job seeker. How do you keep that resilience and that grit and that positive mental fitness going while you have a job? I'm going to share my screen. We do have, Yvette, can you share the screen for me? It's disabled. Just bear with us for a moment, okay?
So it's not allowing you to share screen?
Not allowing me to share screen, no.
That's interesting.
Just take yourself off of being host and
who can share? Who can start sharing? Okay, try it now.
Okay, 1 second. There we go.
There.
Perfect. Okay, can you guys all see this okay? Yes? All right, perfect. So I started Best You Career Advantage about a year ago and really have been growing my business since fourth quarter of 2019. I'm a positive intelligence coach, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. And then I also speak to groups all throughout Denver and the country to help job seekers and those who are just kind of feeling lost and tired and disengaged of how to really amplify their ability to fast track their job search. I started Denver Career Connectors about 2 months ago, and we've had amazing speakers from Twilio and Amazon and the director of talent at Ibotta, and Elise Bloom, who is a networking coach. And today I am super excited to have Ariel Naftali. She has her own business called Perform with Purpose, and she helps empower, let me go back, sorry, genuine and impact-driven professionals to realize their unique purpose and potential so that they can make the next career steps with clarity and confidence. And when Ariel and I started talking, I thought this is going to be amazing partnership. If you could just put yourself on mute, we'd really appreciate that, because I do the same thing. So her focus on clarity, confidence, and courage is also my focus for you on that. She has a background in sports, nutrition, sociology, psychology, and business. And she provides a holistic approach to clients who are looking for a much healthier way to have a more fulfilling life. We're going to start by talking about mental fitness and what that means. Ariel, do you want to say hi to everyone first?
Sure. Hello, everyone, and happy Monday, the best day of the week. So Chelle did a great job at the introduction, so I won't get redundant here, but I am really happy to be here and excited to meet you all and share some of my insight and hopefully support you all in your journey to having more fulfilling work and a more fulfilling life. So this is going to kind of go back and forth, and me and Chelle are going to play around and ask each other questions. So first, I kind of want to ask some questions to Chelle about what mental fitness really means and positive intelligence, since these aren't really terms that we hear in our everyday language. So Chelle, I would love to hear from you what that means.
Okay. In 2020, one of the top 10 areas where people need more support is mental health. Yet mental health has this stigma of, depression, and a lot of people don't want to talk about it. When I talk about mental fitness, it's talking about how to help you as job seekers or people who are currently employed to really focus on not your negative emotions, to focus on that inner critic that we all have, that judge, to learn how to manage that better so that you feel more empowered, so that you can explore and innovate and navigate and activate conversations in a different way. When I talk about the judge, you guys know what I mean. The judge is all about making sure that you feel like you're beat up and you're making mistakes, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm too dumb to apply to that position. Your stress, your unhappiness, and that worry. How many of you have had this, right? This inner critic that finds fault with everything that you're doing, your internal circumstances, that really focuses on your shame, your regret, your guilt. And so when I'm talking about positive intelligence, I'm talking about how to shut up that judge in your head so that you live life from a much more positive perspective. And people who can do this, it has specifically found that you actually live longer by 10 years and that you're more creative. Think about what that would mean for your job search, of being more creative, lower stress, and really focusing on what you want in your life and what is your purpose, what's your clarity, performing better as a team, and really coming at your job search with a very clear focus on who you are and what you're doing. So that's what I mean by positive intelligence, Ariel.
Thank you for explaining that. And I love kind of confronting our inner critic, because we all have that. We all have that voice in our head of self-doubt. And I don't think, it's expected that that just goes away and we can normalize that experience, but there are totally things we can do to overcome it and work towards, committing more to our self-belief than our self-doubt. And so I know, Chelle, you and I have both kind of come across the term mental fitness, but have different approaches to what that really means. So I can jump into mine in a little bit, but what does mental fitness mean for you?
So what it means is that our focus for you is that you resonate at a higher level, that you keep positive. How many of you have had, 4 or 5 rejections, and then it kind of totally derails your week because you're like, I put all of my eggs in that basket? Or you have a pipeline, but even if you have a pipeline, maybe you've been a bridesmaid or a groomsman, come in second place. How many of that has happened to you? Right? And you're like, how on earth do I put this in perspective where I just spent all this time going through interviewing and networking and they found someone else? So mental fitness really is about using that perspective and understanding that things are not personal. That's hard to take for sure. And it's about decreasing your level of anxiety and your negative thoughts and not letting that judge knock you off your consistency and your fast track. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Ariel, I'd love to ask you some questions. What is your interpretation of mental fitness?
Sure. So I cannot take total credit for this, but my professor, Dr. Mark Aogi, coined this process for understanding what mental fitness is. And it's kind of like an acronym with the FIT of fitness, which he says stands for focus, inspiration, and trust. So if this is resonating with you at all, I would write these words down. So first, what is meant by the focus aspect of mental fitness is, where are you focusing your energy? Where are you putting your attention towards? I really believe that everything in life is about attention and intention, and we create our reality by how we decide what we give our attention to. And this is especially important in terms of how we think about our career and our work. Are we putting our attention towards the things that really matter to us, towards the things that are important to us, or are we getting distracted by the shoulds or what everyone else is doing, or really following the path that like our deepest intuition is trying to guide us towards? And so the importance of being present and focusing on what elevates you and not what frustrates you or annoys you in this process. And then the inspiration piece, the I, is really the why. Like, what do you actually care about? What do you actually want to share with the world? What's the big picture here in your work? Because your work is your opportunity to share your unique gifts and skills with the world. What's the long-term view of your career? What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want your impact to be? It really is an opportunity to have such an incredible influence on others. You spend 80% of your life working. What an opportunity to share who you are and look at it as a chance to be inspired versus just how you need to make a living to get by. And then the last part of the mental fitness acronym is the trust. And this is so key, right? When it comes to like that inner critic and the self-doubt, is trusting your intuition, trusting yourself and your natural skills and your abilities and your training and your education and your intuition in the pursuit of fulfilling work. Like really returning back to, okay, what do I really know here? What do I really know about myself and what I want? And being careful not to fall in the trap of, listening to our ego, because that can pop up a lot of the time, and really trusting kind of that deeper knowing, that deeper intuition when we're making career decisions.
Perfect. Thank you, Ariel. So like she said, it's really about that focus and that inspiration. Ariel, what advice do you give to people who are looking for their purpose?
Yeah, so I know that this idea of, life purpose can be like really big and intimidating, but we can really simplify it, and it's really simpler than you think. We get purpose from three main avenues. So we get purpose through our relationships, through personal growth, and through serving something outside of ourselves that is meaningful. So in your work, you want to be challenged in a way that's personally meaningful, like growing in a direction that you care about, not challenged in a way where it makes you feel constrained. You want to be challenged in a way that feels expansive, like, oh, I'm growing here, I'm learning, and I'm growing in a direction that feels good for me. And you want to be sharing and optimizing your unique skills and talents. Like each of you here on this call right now has a unique essence, a unique way of expressing yourself. Like you have unique gifts and talents that no one else has. And you can share that through your work and create value that way. And the last piece is, like you want to be serving something outside of yourself that you genuinely care about. And when I say serving something outside of yourself, I don't necessarily mean you need to be, part of some large social justice movement, or you need to be starting a nonprofit. What I mean is that whatever it is you're serving, whoever it is you're serving, needs to be something you actually care about. Whoever you're serving in the job role you have, or in the larger mission of whatever organization you're a part of, is that something that truly resonates with you? And if it's not, that's going to kind of hold you back from experiencing that true fulfillment in your work. Yeah, I'll stop it there.
Okay, so I just wanted to stop now and let you know that we're going to talk about several concepts that are not just transactional. They're much more holistic. They're a little bit woo-woo, and we hope that you're okay with that. They're going to talk about how you get deeper into your own connection with yourself. I'm going to type some questions that Ariel's going to talk about for you. We want this to be a time where you can actually step back and write down some of these questions for yourself. so that you can gain clarity, have more purpose, and then come at your job search or at your internal promotion and advancement conversation with much more confidence and really following your gut to what you are looking for. So you're going to hear some different words. And Ariel, really, we want to focus on that because in order to be successful, you have to be soul inspired. And what does that mean, right? I'm not talking from a religious perspective. I'm talking about listening to what your gut is telling you, what your sage in your, what is your soul telling you that you're great at? For me, I couldn't do corporate anymore. I felt completely burnt out, lost, anxious. How many of you have had that feeling at work before? Right? And so a lot of you are raising your hands. So the techniques that we're going to talk to you about, the questions that we're going to bring to you are for you not just to think about, but to journal about and to get deeper within. That's what we hope to bring you today. This is not just a webinar on some mindfulness. This is really about how are you going to get more perspective and move forward in a much more happy and positive manner. So I just wanted to throw that out there. We're going to get real. It's going to be some core values. And so don't be shocked if we get into some really kind of deeper topics. So on that note, Ariel, why do you think work-life purpose is more important than work-life balance?
Yeah, so I'm sure most of us here have heard the term work-life balance. It's certainly become a trendy topic and something a lot of us may feel like we're craving. And I kind of just want to break open this idea of balance and challenge that we may not actually be looking for an equal separation of time here. What we're really looking for is quality engagement where we are in the present moment. Quality engagement at work, really feeling like we're enjoying where we are, feeling like we're present in flow, and also being able to get home from work or just step outside of your office if you're home during COVID, and being able to truly be present with your family or the people that you like spending time with. That's what we're really looking for, right? Is quality engagement. It's not like we're looking for, 8 hours here and 8 hours here. And so how do we get quality engagement with these aspects of our life that we care about? Well, it's about feeling purposeful in those engagements, feeling like they're meaningful. Is your work meaningful to you? And I'm sure your family is something that is easy to say is meaningful to you. Are you having quality engagement in that aspect of your life too? So I really want to break that down to, if you've been craving balance in your life, sometimes that is a reflection of disengagement from your job on a deeper level.
Ariel, I totally agree with what you're saying. For me, I see so many people who have these signposts or these very clear things that are happening in their life where they feel stuck and exasperated or maybe bored and they just don't care. Like there's this numbness in their emotion and they're hearing a calling for something much, much more, but don't know what to do or where it comes from, like this feeling of being lost. So how do you get clarity is one of the big questions. So how would you advise our audience today to look for their clarity and really focus on finding their purpose?
Yeah, totally. So I want to also just quickly add that, there is certainly validity in this culture of burnout and being overworked. And I do think we should all be striving to have healthier relationships with our work, both those who are in charge and leading and those who are showing up every day to their job. With that aside, how to get more clarity, I feel like is truly following your curiosity, which you are all doing right now by showing up on this call today. No one forced you to show up in this Zoom call. I'm sure there's many other things you could be doing with your time right now. So actually following like where your curiosity is taking you, and being okay with the level of uncertainty in your future. We can never know what the next 50 years of our life or 20 years is going to look like, but we can follow that intuition that's guiding us, and kind of maintain this level of flexibility around how things are going to unfold. But getting clarity starts with actually taking action. And being here today is that first step.
So the first question there is, are you, as the audience, following your curiosity? What are you curious about? I'd like you to take a few minutes to write down, what are you curious about? What are you thinking that your gut is telling you that you feel like your head is stopping you from focusing on? Just take a minute. And again, are you following your curiosity? I'm going to put this in the chat. And that's one of the questions that Ariel and I want you to really focus. What is your curiosity? What are you interested in? Ariel, do you have any other questions that at this point you'd like me to type into the chat for them to think about?
Sure. So just some guiding questions for the curiosity piece is, it's sometimes helpful to think about, like, what have you been curious about, but you've been too afraid to try, or felt like you never had time to try, or you just never felt like it was the right time to try, without any attachment to any future evolution of it, just throwing it out there. What are you curious about learning about, and what would you like to try learning if you had all the time in the world? Coming from that open-minded space can really get this process started. And if you feel comfortable or confident, also feel free to share in the chat box. I know I would love to see what some of you are thinking, and I'm sure Chelle would too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so maybe we'll give you a few minutes to kind of think on that, and then I can give another guiding question to help you in your search for fulfillment.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. That's awesome. What are you curious about? What would you like to try in your current role, maybe that you aren't doing, or in a job that we can help you get focused on, that your heart is really telling you, you know what, I want to do this. I feel like I could have confidence to do this. Jennifer is saying consulting or independent work, higher level positions of coaching or podcasting or voiceover work. Angel, that's awesome. I have been on several podcasts. I actually have 3 podcasts coming out in April, and I just got 3 more lined up. So I'm happy to provide you with some podcasting info. Ariel, how about you? What do you?
Were you asking what I'm also curious about?
Yeah, what are you curious about that you've been doing differently?
Sure. Yeah, so kind of, I would say, in this next evolution of my business, I'm really about being in our full self-expression, whatever that means to each of us. And I've always had this passion for dancing and how alive it makes me feel. And so, although I am a coach and I help people in their careers, I am also in the brainstorming phase of creating a branch of my business that would create a space for people to dance freely and together and feel like, especially since, a lot of us can't get together in person for some time still, maybe a space over Zoom to do that.
That's awesome.
What about you, Chelle?
So I'm a Zumba instructor. And so I definitely tell my clients to go out and dance. And so, like we said, this is not your typical career, just transaction. We really focus you on volunteering or getting out and doing something different. Nava's talking here about many IT projects and looking for a job and a mentor. Also appreciate if you could share any related events or share me any job opportunities. Yeah, we can definitely help you with that as well. She is in Scrum. It sounds like Jean is looking at running his own consultancy. And
Wow.
So thank you, everybody interested. Rafat, I love seeing that you'd like to have some spirituality in human
Yes,
resources. That's awesome.
love
So,
that.
love that. Let's see some other comments here. Transition into position in green energy. Wow. Amanda, you're curious about podcasting, podmatch.com or podcast collab on Facebook. I also have a coach who is, oh, thank you, Rafat. So let's go back to some of the other questions. Ariel, what other questions should people be asking themselves in order to really get clear and get focused on soul-inspired work?
Yeah. So I'm loving all of your responses in the chat, and I wish I could respond to each one right now. But the next question I would say to ask yourself is, what do you do effortlessly? What do you do naturally? And this was really important to separate this out from your training, from your education, from any trainings you've had in your job. Like, what is it that you've noticed amongst you and your friends or your family and the people in your life? What comes more naturally to you than others? Like, this is your God-given talent. And there's a reason why you have it. So take a moment to reflect on, like, what it is that you do naturally and effortlessly. And I would love to see some of your shares in the chat box as well. Oh my gosh, public presenting, Jen, that's amazing. Since public speaking's the #1 fear. That's incredible.
That's awesome. What is your soul-inspired work? Like putting that out there and really thinking and journaling about that. Love to see some more answers from you. Building relationships. Michelle, you definitely build relationships. That's awesome. Translates employee relations and work. Okay. So just take another 30 seconds to focus on, what do you do naturally? What comes as easy to you so that you don't have to force a solution? Teaching.
Yes.
Designing. Oh, that's so cool, Carla. Thank you. People see very quickly how honest and open I am, so they are comfortable to open up. What Jean just said, I'm sorry, no, what Alan just said, think about how when people notice your energy and how open you are, they want to reciprocate that focus. That makes you a job seeker or a person of interest to them. So Anna, thank you. Connecting the dots, solving problems. Anna, absolutely. I remember your background and you definitely do connect the dots. Thank you so much for putting in all of this. Ariel, what other questions would you like the group to answer?
Yeah. So I will also add a quick follow-up to the what you're naturally best at as a side takeaway, and a project I do with clients is to ask the people in your life, what's the greatest value you provide to them? What do they see that you do naturally better than others? Because often the people in our life can see things about ourselves that we're not aware of, that we can't reflect on because we don't experience us as other people experience us. So that's a really helpful activity if you want to try that sometime after this call. And the very last question, kind of the third key question that I would ask you is, what do you genuinely care about? Who or what inspires you, or what issues in the world, big or small, bother you or frustrate you? This can really help move the needle and push us in the direction of where we want to share our unique gifts and share our talents and our work. Like, who is you want to impact and influence?
Okay, so I just put some more questions in the chat box that we would love for you to answer. Write down, and we will be sending out the recording of this afterward, along with these questions, along with anything that Ariel and I have to give to you. So you absolutely will have access to this afterward, just so you're interested. What do you generally care about? What issues, big or small, inspire or frustrate you? For me, I'm genuinely interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion. and having a voice and really helping people with that. What about you? Diana is saying family, environment, health. In this case with Diane, there might be pain points or growth points with health, environmental, and family focused companies that you can find. And that actually would be a communication that you can send and start networking with. Me too, DEVI, awesome, and belonging, love that. Ariel, oh cool, family and faith. So your family, your faith, those are things that are core to you. So think about what else is coming up for you here. I love that, Rafat. Thank you. Okay, so the focus here too is when you find those areas for you that inspire you, how do you find companies or that are growing or pain points like diversity, equity, and belonging? What happened recently in Atlanta? What happened with Michael Floyd? And how do you have a voice for that? And how do you find companies that are aligned to what your soul inspired focus is? If you can do that, that is really one of the main tips that Ariel and I have for you is your purpose has to align with the purpose of the company. So any other comments that you guys would like to share based on the questions so far? Ariel, you had talked a little bit before about, who is holding you accountable? How did you come to this work? And how do you recommend people really come at this work in finding their purpose and performing with purpose?
Yeah. So I was actually maybe similar to you in the corporate world and not really feeling lit up or fulfilled by what I did, even though the company as a whole was great. It really spoke to the larger issue of me not sharing my unique talents and not really committing to a mission that I personally cared about. So, what really moved the needle for me was not just having that realization, but I actually hired a coach for myself when I was still working my full-time job who kind of held me accountable to this transition I knew I wanted to make, because it's really easy to, hop on a call like this and engage and feel excited and inspired and then hang up and return back to your day-to-day life and not actually do something that moves the needle. And that's all of us. That's totally normal and that's human. And I think what really helps is having someone in your corner who's going to hold you accountable to those changes you want to make in your life. So that's what really did it for me. And I know part of this is having the confidence to actually explore your purpose or explore work that fulfills you. And that's hard to have at the beginning of this journey. So, Chelle, I'm curious for you, what are some ideas you have for understanding and speaking about your purpose with confidence at this stage of the game?
So Ariel has talked with everyone about getting clarity on your purpose and really focusing on what is your heart telling you and your gut telling you to do. I think about it is, what is your calling? Where do you really find your passion? And how do you speak about that passion with confidence? For my clients, I ask them to think about the times you were confident, that you could speak with your voice of power and go in an interview and be calm and not have these inner critic judging thoughts. So write down times that you felt confident. Look at your past performance evaluations and feel all of the positives that are mentioned, because how many of us have had performance evaluations where we get like a really high score, but we just focus on the negative comments, like that one comment, right? That one comment of you need to maybe do a stretch assignment or so something that I really work with my clients on is, look at all of these positives. And if you need to help yourself with those errors, then how are you going to take accountability for that and really stretch yourself to focus on those types of things? So I challenge all of you, look back at your performance evaluations, write down all of the adjectives that your leaders have described you as. And if you don't have any of those adjectives in your resume or as part of your branding statement, put those out there. Make it part of your story of you're proud to speak your clarity. It's part of your branding. The other thing that I definitely recommend is think about, who do you admire and what qualities do they have that you see in yourself? That really pulls out the confidence for you and helping you feel, wow, if I see those characteristics in someone then that I admire, what do we share? And how can I use that to speak about my own person or my own purpose with confidence? I also tell my clients to kind of wrap yourself in that courage cloak. That means, like, before you go into interviews and network, make sure that you are on you have higher energy. Go out and walk in nature. Go cook something that you love. Do something. A lot of times I tell people, spend time with kindergartners, dance like you just don't care, and join a book club. So all of those things help to build your confidence. What about you, Ariel? How do you help people really focus on speaking with that purpose and building that confidence?
The confidence and clarity kind of move together.
Are we having some sound issues? Can you guys hear us okay? Can everybody hear okay?
Shelly,
No,
my
I don't.
computer's freezing up. I don't know if that has something to do with it.
Oh, okay, Yvette, I'm sorry.
Working on it. Yeah, Ariel's choppy.
Ariel, I don't know if you can hear us, but you're kind of choppy right now. Sorry, everyone. I think this has to do with our snow.
We need to have it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We lose Ariel.
I think we just might have lost Ariel. Yvette, can you work on getting her back? Sorry, everyone.
Will do.
I think everybody understands technology and weather issues and all of that, right? Can I get a thumbs up? I think you guys all understand that. Okay, thank you. So what Ariel was really talking about is focusing on that purpose. And some books that I recommend for everyone. The first one is Positive Intelligence. This is a book by Shirzad Chamine, and it talks about how do you get that mental fitness. And there's also, I don't know if you can see this. Let me undo this. 1 second. Virtual background. None. Okay. So the first one is a book called Positive Intelligence. I hope you can all see this. You can also go out to positiveintelligence.com and actually do 2 assessments of your current level of positivity. On the second, it says PQ score and then positive or PQ assessment. Go ahead and take that assessment and see where you land with that. I'm actually a positive intelligence coach, and I've taken over 18 job seekers through this program to really get their mindset to shut up that critic. This book really does help with that. And I'm happy to talk with any of you about that positive intelligence program. The other book that I recommend is called Fire Dancer. It's a book by Cami Gildner, and it talks all about really listening to what your calling is, what your purpose is. Again, this is Fire Dancer by Cami Gildner. Cami is actually on the board for the Women's Leadership Foundation here in Colorado. She is a award-winning business coach, and she's actually my coach. So it's really about living your life with passion and living your life with your purpose. So those 2 books are highly recommended. Ariel, do we have you back?
I'm back. Hey,
Okay,
hey,
cool.
everyone.
Cool. Sorry about that. So Ariel, you were talking and it was coming out really, really hard to hear you. Can you answer the question again on how do you help people live their purpose and speak with confidence about their purpose?
Yeah. Can everyone hear me okay right now? Okay. All right. Let me know if that changes. But I'll give a briefer explanation since we lost some time there. Overall, clarity and purpose kind of move together. And I feel like there's this misconception around confidence and that we have to have it first to do something. We have to have confidence to perform well, to do well in an interview, to get that promotion. And really, confidence comes after action. We have to act despite the fear, despite the self doubt. And then the confidence comes afterwards, you know? And I don't necessarily say, you know, fake it till you make it, but it's moving in a courageous direction instead of giving into that doubt or that fear. And that's how confidence is built. And the same when it comes to your purpose is like that trust, that aspect of mental fitness is trusting your intuition, trusting your curiosity, and moving in that direction without fully knowing how things are going to turn out. That's going to help you move in the direction of your purpose. And as you keep taking those steps, your confidence and your clarity will build. But you have to trust it first and you have to take those steps to move in that direction. Thanks for asking that, Chelle. And sorry, everyone, for the technical difficulties.
That's okay. So what I'd love to do now is Ariel and I have talked about all of these questions that we hope that you will journal on and really take time to ask. So I'd love to hear from you as what has been helping you keep confident during your job search? What things are helping you to stay focused and have that perspective? So if you could put that in the chat, or we're just going to open it up to some participation because again, we're trying to go a little bit deeper with you here to really support each other and have a community where courageous vulnerability is totally accepted. What have you been doing to keep your career resilience high? Or what questions have you asked yourself that might help the audience here as well?
I'm also going to quickly answer Michelle's question because I think that's a really important one. She asked, when you bring the confidence you were speaking about to an interview or are rejected or ghosted by the employer, how do you recommend rebounding and keeping the confidence up, especially when you don't receive feedback? So I'll give my quick answer, then maybe Chelle, you would have something to say on that too. But what I would first say is if you are ever rejected or not given the opportunity, I will always follow up, call, do anything in my power to try to get that feedback. I will be persistent as hell to find out what it is they're looking for and why I wasn't a right fit. And sometimes that's not always possible for larger companies. I know that process is very automated. So what I will say in that case is to have that, go back to that trust again, that it just wasn't right. And the next thing that happens to you might be the one that's moving you in the right direction. Having that trust that if they didn't see the fit for you, then it wasn't the right fit for you either. Like an interview is a two-way street. They're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them and making sure it's the right fit for you. And so if an employer doesn't see you and your gifts as being the right fit, then screw them. You know, it's like you get to decide how you want to move in a direction after that and find one that does feel like the right match and one that excites you and one you feel like is the right match for you. And so I know just saying have faith and have trust is vague, but every time that I've been rejected or something's happened and I've been frustrated in the moment, the next opportunity or the next 3 opportunities that came after that were so much more in alignment. And then I was able to look back and realize why that happened. Chelle, do you have any thoughts on that?
You know, Ariel, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. And let's just face it. Getting those rejections absolutely sucks. What also sucks is that when you don't hear anything, you spend hours researching the company and then it just goes into this black abyss, right? I love what Ariel stated about follow up and ask for the feedback, but we have a lot of HR folks on the phone that would be, it's just serial number, name, and job title. They're not going to give you that feedback. In our conversations with talent acquisition leaders, they are now 3 to 5 times more saturated with people reaching out to them. So just know, I have a friend that I spoke with after about 5 minutes after she received a no thank you from a major company here in Denver. And it was like a networking call, very high level HR person. And she just cried. And just giving yourself the space to feel and not just move forward, like go work out, call friends. Really, the time is okay to be vulnerable. Work with a coach who's going to be your ally, your cheerleader. Listen to forums. I love what Marva wrote. Continue learning, expanding your horizon, and definitely praying and trusting God. Well, thank you. That's awesome. So those are my thoughts on those things. I also think that sometimes honing your interview skills and having someone to practice with, talk to your teddy bear is what I say. Really practice, talk about your branding, and really know your story so that you're clear, concise, and you have a methodical way to answer those, but in an organic and natural manner. I'm missing some of the chat here. So Ariel, thank you for keeping up with that. Laurel, realize you have specific skills. As candidates, we never truly know what the employer needs. A way that you can find out what the employer needs is to actually spin your interview, asking them specific questions in the beginning about, tell me about your pain points. Tell me about the obstacles what keeps you up? What's your Sunday night dilemma, if you will? That way you can then show how your abilities match the needs of the company. I'm kind of getting into some other content, but that's how you would do that. Practice, Shelley. I just asked my daughter and sister to help me. Awesome. That's fantastic. Okay. So how Ariel and I can help you is that I specifically focus on positive intelligence, and we're not doing this to try to get you into our programs. We're doing this because we talk to job seekers and on panels and with diversity groups and organizations, the chambers of commerce, every day about business owners. Everyone has these inner critic and these judgments. If Ariel and I can help you, that's fantastic, but get someone to speak with. I personally do a 6-week program on positive intelligence. It talks about decreasing all of those negative emotions, stress, disappointment, self-doubt, and really focusing on that positive emotions like gratitude. I actually give some free webinars, and I'm always talking about how do you give gratitude to recruiters? How do you reach out and actually have gratitude and show curiosity and creativity? Having part of that as your search will really help keep you grounded on how you can be of service to others. Ariel, how do you help people with this?
So I kind of have 2 different offerings right now, or opportunities to really explore your purpose and finding fulfillment in your work. That's what I really care about, is supporting others in truly creating a life that they feel is meaningful and fulfilled by. So right now I have one-on-one coaching offerings. I only have 2 spots left right now, and that's kind of my highest touch offer of getting that direct one-on-one work with me. And you can find out more information about what that program looks like using that link in the slide at the end there, where it says Uncover Purpose. And then I will be also offering a group coaching format in May, and that'll be very high energy community level support, going through a similar process, a little bit less of the direct work with me, but you'll still get some direct support. And so there's kind of benefits and cons both formats. The group coaching program will be at a lower price point. So if that's something you're interested in, I'm also giving like a fast action bonus to anyone that wants to sign up within 24 hours of this call of meeting me and hearing about it. So if either of those interest you and you are really curious about exploring your work, please reach out to me, and my email is there in that PowerPoint slide, and I would love to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you, Ariel. We're really trying to grow this community, and we will be offering another seminar for you on hot HR and recruitment topics on April 12th. We're having a senior recruiter from PAX 8. Her name is Haley Kavanaugh, come in, and also Susan Arnenson, who was the director of talent at Omnitrax. We'll be talking about some of the hottest topics in HR and recruitment. Please help get the word out for our Denver Career Connectors. And if you'd like to contact with me, this is my information. This focus really is, how can we best help you? So what questions, I'm going to take this off of stop sharing right now and just open it up to everyone. We know that this is a really hard topic, and it's all about resilience right now. If I'm actually doing some speaking with women in tech, and I think Ariel might be as well. The focus is about resilience. So if you can answer what your purpose is, what your clarity is, and how you have been resilient in this pandemic, that's really going to fit with different cultures right now, no matter what your focus is and no matter what your industries are. I'm going to be changing the name of Denver Career Connectors to Colorado Career Connectors, because we're really starting to get impact from Fort Collins, Durango area, in the mountains and in the Pueblo and area. So we're going to be sending out a note to all of you just to let you know Denver Career Connectors is changing to Colorado Career Connectors. We hope to bring you some of the best places to work companies, and just FYI. So thank you, Yvette, for reminding me to do that. What else can Ariel and I help you with to be of service to help you have more career resilience? What questions do you have for us? Awesome. Okay. So if you'd like to share your LinkedIn before we leave and put it in the chat, we'd love for you to connect with each other. We'd also love for you to really help each other and get an accountability partner, someone that you work with, someone that you've met in a transition group, a coach, someone that is a power partner for you that will help you and has your back when it comes to your job search. I forgot to say some of that in the beginning. So make sure that you are putting your LinkedIn in there. And I'd love to challenge all of you to think about the questions we've asked. What is your clarity? What resonates with you? What are you soul inspired by? And if I can help you, or if Ariel can help you, we're really strategic partners to really help job seekers and those that need focus to just feel better about where you are in your search. Definitely. Ariel, any last thoughts?
I just want to thank you all for showing up and putting your time and your energy into this last hour of learning and diving into your curiosity. That is the very first step. And I really do hope to connect with all of you. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at any point in time. I really appreciate you all showing up today. So thank you.
Thank you. Same with me. If you have any questions whatsoever, Ariel and I are going to partner together on purpose. So let us know how we can be of service. And it's good to see so many of your faces as well. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. Okay, I'll stay on for a little bit just to answer any other questions that you guys might have. Awesome. Okay.
Chelle, can you give us your email address again?
I will put that in the chat. Absolutely. Thank you, Becky. There you go. Okay. So some of you have stayed on. I can't tell you how many of my own clients really have suffered with self-doubt, that inner critic that absolutely paralyzes them. And we're going to be sending out something that Ariel, some 5 questions, 5 tips for having a purposeful life. And we hope that that helps as well. Let me see. You said you would send a report of this call. Yes, we're going to be sending the recording, the 5 tips for a purposeful life, how to get in touch with Ariel and me, some information on free webinars, and really just tips to help you. You can follow Ariel or me on LinkedIn, follow both of us. We absolutely are here to help you live a heart-centered and soul-inspired life.
Also, to answer Eugene, what have you observed as the greatest barrier to clarity during this pandemic? And I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but I would say that it's getting started. It's sitting and letting all those questions just roll around in your head and not exploring any of them and taking that first step. When I'm working with people, they have all these like thoughts that they just haven't explored. And the second we start diving in, it's like every session, there's more breakthroughs, more clarity. And it's through that process that we figure things out. But especially during this pandemic, it's easy to just like get through the day and then like on to the next day and not really taking those steps to make that transformation into really creating the life that we want. I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that.
For me, the other thing that is holding people back is lack of consistency and structure during the job search. Oh, I don't feel like doing that today, or they don't have a structured, like, I'm going to get up, I'm going to look at my email, I'm going to focus on connecting with 5 to 10 people today, trying to find pain points. And so their job searches is like a roller coaster, or you feel like you're on that gerbil wheel of insanity, doing the same thing over and over. I see some heads nodding. You know, it's really about having that consistency, because with consistency comes greatness, and with greatness comes success. So that's really what I would focus you on. Thank you so much for dialing in today. We know that all of you have other things you could be doing during lunch, but we appreciate you spending it with us. That's why I'm so excited to partner with Ariel, to really get much more soul inspired and have client and experiences where we can dance and do our movement together, okay? So enjoy your day, and let Ariel or I know how we can help you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone. Thanks.
Bye.